Dirty Bunch Jeep Club is back on the trail.
So come ride with us!
This is episode 5 of our exploration of the recently opened Florida Adventure Trail. Unlike everyone else, the Dirty Bunch Jeep Club has been traveling from west to east on the trail. In episode 1, we traveled from Orlando to Mariana, where we began our adventure by exploring the Florida caverns. We then made our way deep into the Panhandle and set up camp just 6 miles south of the west end of the F.A.T, camping at a gorgeous location, Hurricane Lake. From there we began at the west end of the trail and made our way through the Blackwater River State Forest. It was in episode 1 that we found ourselves introduced to the F.A.T by wandering into the midst of live fire. In episode 2, we made our way through Eglin Air Force Base. In episode 3, we ran into disaster as Pete's trailer failed on the highway at 70 miles per hour. After our roadside rescue, we continued on the trail and made it as far east as Bristol. In our last episode, episode 4, we picked up at Bristol and traveled south through the Apalachicola National Forest and Tates Wildlife Management Area. We stopped at the Crooked River Lighthouse and ended our adventure on the beautiful Gulf beaches of Carrabelle. Now we're making our way back into Tates as we continue east on the Florida Adventure Trail. In the description for this video, you can find links for all of the episodes we've made on this amazing trip. Roughly 1 hour south of Tallahassee, you'll find on your F.A.T map a place called Bald Point State Park. We'd never heard of this place, and there are no recent videos of it on YouTube, so we decided to take a look, and boy are we glad that we did. Now looking at the map, you would think that Bald Point takes up the whole of the peninsula, but that's not the case. The southern coastline is not part of the state park. It's its own community called Alligator Point. We expected the southern coastline to be protected beaches and had hoped to walk on undisturbed white sand, but to our surprise there were hundreds of homes in this area. In fact, looking to Verbo, there were 154 properties available for short-term rental, ranging in price from $150 to $750 per night. As we drove through this neighborhood, we saw original homes sitting next to brand new multi-million-dollar properties. We saw several private piers, but no public beach access. If you want to enjoy this area, it seems that you'll have to do it from one of these private properties, and that's something that we plan to do in the future. We'd never heard of Alligator Point, but thanks to the Florida Adventure Trail, we now know of a wonderful place where beautiful seaside properties are available to rent. This would make a great place to get away and enjoy some time alone with your honey. So thanks to the good folks at F.A.T, for sharing this gem with us. In a way, this is the point of the F.A.T, to get folks out into parts of the state that they would not otherwise see. Our state is filled with amazing places that most people know nothing about. Now, the actual state park is worth seeing too. We expected a gate with a park ranger collecting entrance fees, but instead we found an automated kiosk where you can pay with a card or get directions on how to pay online. The fee was $4 and was well worth it. There's hiking, fishing, and kayaking areas, but we were mostly interested in the beach. There's a clean bathroom at the parking lot and a boardwalk that will take you to the water, an amazing white sand beach. If you're looking for a rustic Florida beach, this is where you want to go. There's very little traffic, and aside from the boardwalk that leads to the parking lot, the beach is untouched. It's a throwback to the way that things were 100 years ago. Now, we visited this beach in winter. Well, Florida winter. It was chilly for us with temperatures in the low 50s, high humidity, and a very chilly wind that continually blew at 20 miles an hour. That's why we're all bundled up, and why the skies are not the clear blue that you would expect at a Florida beach. Heading out from Bald Point, we knew that the next section of the Florida Adventure Trail would be hardtop. From this point heading east, you'll encounter more than an hour of blacktop before reaching the Big Bend Wildlife Management Area. On this day, we had pretty much been running from a huge storm that had been coming up behind us all day. We used this opportunity to pick up the pace, get ahead of it just a little bit, and then get our campsite set up before the rain started. And oh boy, when they started, they really started.
Saw the water. I'm just looking to see how it's bubbled up on the top, and I wonder if there was a way we could pull it.
The Dirty Bunch huddled under a canopy to cook and eat dinner. Chilly, windy, and wet are not our favorite conditions, but we made the best of it. Fortunately, we got an hour without rain after dinner, and that gave us time to stand around the fire. And I say stand because all of our chairs were soaked. But we got a chance to warm up a little before hitting the hay, and a chance to have a little fun.
Out of the smoke, she rises. Walk it. Cover girl. Work.
Dump truck. Dump truck. I hate this one.
Paige comes out as a zombie. There you go, girl. Work it, work it. There you go. There you go.
You know what I want to do?
Little sass in that ass.
There you go. I'm coming out chasing that sass.
We opted to stay at the Goose Island Campground. You'll find it on your F.A.T map 9 miles north of the trail, just before you get to Big Bend. We'd originally looked to stay at the dispersed camping waypoint that appears on the F.A.T map, but we did not know if that space would be available, and we didn't know if we could get there before the rains. Staying here was probably a good idea. Now, by means of a short review of this campsite, we would give it a B-. It was quiet, and there was only one other campsite in use, but the place was dirty. Johnny spent 20 minutes pulling garbage out of the fire pit, and I mean garbage. He pulled out baling wire and cans, even pulled out an oil filter. It looks like some of the campsites around here have been used to burn garbage, and that's just not cool at a campsite. Burning that stuff puts out toxins and does not make for a good campfire. But aside from that, this place seemed pretty good. There were porta potties, but no other amenities. And after having been soaked by torrential rains that lasted all night, we opted to go to breakfast rather than cook it at the campsite and have a little fun on the way. After you leave Big Bend, but before you get to Lower Suwannee, the Florida Adventure Trail will take you through an area called Pine Log Swamp. This area has tighter trails, and we can only imagine what this place looks like during rainy season. Now, we got a ton of rain last night at our campsite, but here, roughly 75 miles southeast of that, it looks like it has not rained in a while. The strange thing about this area is that as you're working your way through it, you'll find homes tucked away in densely wooded, secluded parts of the trail. Clearly, these folks are not looking for visitors. We figured it was best to just keep on rolling. We made the decision to wander off the trail and check out Shired Island, a small public camping beach in Dixie County. We wanted to see this place for ourselves. As many of you know, the Sunshine State Vikings, Zach and Tracy, visited this place last month, and they liked it, but they had to deal with rowdy campers and bugs, and that took away from their experience. Florida Adventure Trail founder John Burkmeyer was here just a few weeks ago, and he found the place to be gorgeous, but unmaintained and filled with trash. So we wanted to see for ourselves what Shired Island was all about. And when we visited, it was beautiful. We saw families enjoying the beach and folks taking engagement photos. It was just a great place. The bathroom facilities were not the greatest, but this looks like some place that we would definitely camp. In the description for this video, we'll include links to videos from the Sunshine State Vikings as well as John's video on his channel, Sunshine State Adventure Co. Be sure to check them out. They're doing great work. And while you're at it, please help us by sharing this video with others. We are new to YouTube. We clearly don't know what we're doing yet, but we hope that you'll subscribe to our channel and encourage others to do the same as we continue to bring you videos of our group, the Dirty Bunch Jeep Club, as we explore Florida and beyond. As we finished Devil's Hammock, we came to the end of this part of our adventure. In our next episode, we'll move through Goethe State Forest, and then the Dirty Bunch Jeep Club will find ourselves in familiar territory as we move into Citrus, Croom, and Richland. We hope you'll join us as we continue our exploration of the Florida Adventure Trail. Until then, be sure to find us on Facebook. There, you can see all of our upcoming rides and events. Rather than just watch us, we invite you to find a ride that fits your schedule, and we invite you to come ride with us.